Okay. You're gonna learn about guitar today. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
So first we're gonna talk about how to sit with the guitar. So holding the guitar. So you're gonna start by putting your leg up on this little footrest we have here. It's a footrest, not a backpack. And then you're gonna place the guitar on your left leg, the one that you just put up on the backpack. Good job. Like that, yes. So, there should be 3 points of contact with you and the guitar. One should be on that leg, which is good. You got that. You're sitting pretty well. The other against your body, and then the other against that leg. You've got that handled. But it says to cover that in the syllabus. Next, we're going to talk about string names here. Yeah?
Okay.
So, this lowest string here, this guy, often referred to as the 6th string, is E, right?
Okay.
And then the next one up, this is the 5th string, is A. So E, A, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 4th apart. Most of them are. And then it's D, yeah? And then there's G, which is the next guy. That's the 3rd string. And then there's B. Notice that G and B are not a 4th apart. How far is G and B apart from each other? What kind of third?
Major third.
Good job, Lauren. And then the last note here is an E. Notice that B and E are a 4th apart, so it goes back to normal there, right? So those are the note names. A good way to remember that is Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. That's how I remember it. It's kind of violent, but it works for our purposes, right? Now, we're going to talk about picking techniques. Yeah?
Okay.
You're getting all this?
Yes.
Moving a little fast, but
It's okay.
you already had a guitar lesson with someone else, so you're probably picking it up all right. Now we're going to talk about picking techniques, though. So today, we're going to talk about finger picking, which is where, as it says, you use the fingers to pick the guitar rather than the picks. So let me see here. When you're playing these 3 strings, the E, A, and D string, you're going to want to use your thumb most of the time to pick it, unless you're doing some like faster stuff down here that requires these fingers. But we're not going to do any of that today because that's a little bit complex, right? The top 3 strings here, G, B, and E, you're going to want to use these 2 fingers mostly, unless you're doing chords, and then you can add the 3rd finger here. Yeah?
Okay.
So, and when you're doing stuff like this, you want to alternate fingers, right? Because if you're just using the same finger, you can't play very fast unless it's like just straight up tremolo picking like that, but we're not going to do that. It's hard to keep that in any sort of actual time. So let's try that out. Let's have you try that. On the top E string here, the 1st string, I'm going to have you pick some 8th notes. Ready? 1, 2, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty good. I like how you're not having this B string ring like when you play that, but you're playing it really quietly. When you're playing notes up here like this, unless it's an accompaniment, you're gonna want to bring your finger all the way through that string. Notice how you're kind of like this. You're plucking up and just doing that. You want to like really bring the sound out of that note. Yeah.
Okay.
So another thing, once you start doing that, it gets slightly harder to keep the B string quiet because you'll be doing stuff like this and you'll accidentally hit it a few times. A couple things I like to do are I like to keep my thumb way up here on the guitar. So if I'm plucking it, it's not going to hit that B string, right? Another thing is, if you're like, you can just bring your fingers through and touch the B string, but make sure you're not like plucking it. So like if you're playing stuff down here, you can do that. Or you can just like get a more aggressive upstroke, like straight up just going up, and then it doesn't ever have to touch the B string.
Okay.
There's numerous methods to not get that string to ring. Choose your favorite, you know. But for now, let's try the thumb one, just because that one works pretty well. So, 1, 2, ready, go, That's good. That was good. Juan was outside. He was like, but so that was very good, Lauren. Okay, now we're gonna talk about this. The no laughing matter finger exercises. Yeah? Okay, so each of these numbers are referring to a finger, yeah? So this is a hand. You see that drawing there? This is your thumb. It doesn't matter, that's not a 1, it's just it's a mark. So this finger, I did this backwards. Nevertheless, this finger is your first finger, okay, right, in guitar. This one is your second finger. That's your third finger. This is your fourth finger. Yeah? So, these are each referring to a finger name. This would be your first, second, third, and it'd be like, you know. Now, what you're going to do with these is you're going to play them on the frets there. So let's start on the first fret and let's try playing that no laughing matter thing. While you're doing this, keep in mind the not wanting to get that B string to ring. Got it? So like I keep one finger here and I'm you're going to want to keep it, when you're fretting notes, you want to keep it close to the top of the fret, but not on the fret, right? Okay. So that'd be the first fret. And then the second finger would go onto the second fret, at third finger, third fret, fourth, etc. Yeah? And then you just go up. So it'd be da, 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 chromatically. So let's try that real slow. Let's do quarter notes. Ready? 1, te, 2, te, 3, te, 4, te. 1, te, 2, te, 3, te, 4, te. 1, te, 2, te, 3, te, 4, te. That's pretty good. Be sure you're keeping your thumb on right there, okay, and just so you can get a louder sound out of the guitar when you're plucking it, yeah, picking it, whatever. Also, be sure you hold it for the full duration of the quarter note, so it's 1, da, 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 da. Yeah, let's try that one more time, and then we'll do something else with these. 1, te, 2, te, 3, te, 4, te. A little bit loud. Good job. Yeah, just keep repeating it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's pretty good. One more thing on this. I know your hands are kind of small, but a lot of times when you're doing this, you want to try to keep you want to try to keep all of your fingers down, right? So the first one would stay down, when the second one goes. Just so, I'm honestly kind of bad at about that, but that's because I'm self-taught. So, but that's just the thing that people generally do. How much time are we at? We're at 8 minutes. Let's talk about the D major chord, because that's the last thing we're supposed to talk about. So, you see this little chart right here?
Yes.
That's a chord chart. Do you know how to read them?
No.
Okay, cool. I'll explain that real fast, right? So, it's kind of illustrating the neck of a guitar, right? So this lowest set of boxes here would be the E string. This next one would be the A string, the D string, G, B, E, etc. The boxes themselves represent frets, right? So this first box would be the first fret on all of those strings. And the second fret, third fret, fourth fret, etc., right? Mm-hmm. And then those little circles there represent what frets you're supposed to be playing. So with this chord, you're going to be playing that second fret of the G string, third fret of the B string, and the second fret of the E string, right? The numbers on those little circles represent what fingers are best to use. That's just a recommendation. Personally, I don't play D major like this, right? This is just what most books say. I'd bar this one and that one, but that's okay. You see that little circle there that's not on a fret? Mm-hmm. That indicates an open string, which means you just play the string without covering any frets, right?
Okay.
Yeah? The X's are don't play that string.
Okay.
So, let's try to fret that. So,
1 would be here.
Yep.
3 would be here.
yes. And good job.
Okay.
Almost.
Fret.
That's good. That was good. Just make sure you're not covering this high E string with this finger here.
Okay.
So arch it a little bit more. There you go. And then move this one back to the high E string.
Like that?
Almost. There you go.
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now strum it. That's pretty good. A good way to check if you're hitting all of the strings is by arpeggiating it. Like just real slowly. So let's say you have that D major chord.
Okay.
See, I'm playing all those notes there. If you have something like
Okay.
you hear that, you know you're doing it wrong. And a lot of times when you hear stuff like that, it's generally that you're covering one of the strings with like, in your case, I think you were covering it with this finger. A couple of other problems could be like you're not holding your finger close enough to the top of the fret, which normally results in like a buzz. I can't. But that's just a couple of ways to help. Let's try that one more time and then I think we're through.
1, 2, 3. Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost arch your third finger just a tad, make sure, there you go. Now play the high E string with it. There you go.
Okay.
That one's not on the right fret.
Which one? This one?
This one.
This one? This one?
Right there.
Right there?
G string. There you go. Good job.
Okay.
Got this, Lauren.
I don't.
You almost do. There you go. Now you
Okay.
got it. Good job. Now just strum it. Give me a nice. Good job.
Yay.
Sweet. We're done.